all right, to give some context on Bloom. Bloom is the #1 most trialed energy drink at the launch of our product. So that means that when we launched in Targets, it is the record for the amount of trial in a certain span of time. We are the top 5 energy drink right now in mass retail. Mass retail is like the Target and Kroger's and Walmart's of the world, and that is only in our second year of business. We are the #1 greens in all of U.S. retail. So our greens and superfoods is completely demolished through the OTC aisles of all of our favorite retailers. We are in 80,000 retail doors today. That is global, but I think it's 70,000 in just the U.S. We have 15 billion views across TikTok alone, and of course we're very present on YouTube, Snapchat, and Instagram as well. And we work with thousands of creators, and just on our own owned profiles, we have 1.4 million followers. So instead of just like telling the whole story of Bloom, I thought I would kind of go through 10 lessons that I feel like I have learned throughout the 10-year entrepreneurship journey that I've been on, and hopefully some fun Bloom stories will come out along the way. And then at the end, we could do a little Q&A or something. So don't let pride hold you back. So to launch our business, Mari and I, who's my wife, who's here right now mother of my son, we launched with Mari posting her fitness transformation on Instagram. And when we posted her fitness transformation on Instagram, we immediately started to treat her profile as a business. And I think a lot of people, maybe more so appropriate now, but back then it was a little bit of a taboo to even think of your personal brand as a business in itself. And so from day one, we were running paid advertising any chance that we had, college dollars available, to grow the platform that we knew would be the nucleus for the brands that we would launch moving forward. So that would look really weird in 2018 in a time where basically everyone was just signing contracts with the Gymsharks of the world or other apparel brands, getting their coupon codes, and or just relying on the algorithm for growth. But what we decided to do was we knew we had a message, we knew we had incredible content coming out of Mari's owned profiles, and if we just needed more eyeballs faster on these profiles to click follow. So I think the idea of going against the grain, feeling like, or treating yourself as a business in yourself, and ignoring the potential cringe of what may be taboo in society today can bring you so much further, so much faster than anyone who has the toxic amount of pride to hold them back in that space. So, your greatest opportunities cannot be predicted. When I think of just like macro cultural shifts that have happened over the last couple of years, I think of course, COVID, TikTok launching as a social media channel that nobody saw coming at all. TikTok Shop launching and now probably staying as a major marketplace for CPG and apparel and everything else. And then even like GLP-1s being the pharmaceutical intervention to consumer demand across America. And those cultural macro shifts were probably the 4 largest opportunities that we found at Bloom to be able to integrate ourselves into the cultural movement. So whether it was COVID and then we found the opportunity to launch this influencer program and move to Los Angeles and launch what is today the largest in-house CPG, influencer marketing agency, or whether it was GLP-1s and making sure our products are addressing the needs of the modern Ozempic user, right? So you cannot predict these opportunities, and I was just walking around LA and being at Expo West, which is the largest natural food expo in the country of the year, and everyone loves to bring up this brand blew up in 2017 when Facebook ads were cheap, and like that was the opportunity in 2017. And I would love for you guys to keep your eyes open and keep on the widest mindset that you can for what is this year's opportunity? What is this year's cheap Meta ad? What is this year's COVID? What is this year's new TikTok Shop? And I would say TikTok Shop is still super fucking hot. But that's how I like to think about things. This is a photo of Mari and I in our warehouse in 2020 wearing our COVID masks. That was awesome. Okay. The power of brand. Never need to start over from zero. So one of the largest insecurities that I feel like a lot of people have in their career is the idea that, I'm not going to make this shift to start a new brand or leave my current job because I don't want to have to start over from zero and everything that I have already built. And I think that if you think of it differently as, of course, the things that you've learned along the way, and you can bring that everywhere, but if you build a personal brand or if you build a powerful enough brand, Bloom launched with a pre-workout powder. And I have not heard the sentence with Bloom and pre-workout in the same sentence in probably 3 years. But we now sell energy drinks and sodas, and we have a 9-figure greens business. And that is because we had built a brand and community that we were able to plug in all of our future innovations into while that snowballed. So if you focus on the power of brand, you really never need to start over from zero again. And if you have innovations that do start to decline, that is okay, because when you go after the next venture, it will be a net gain. Cool. Get the fuck out of your hometown. So, Mari and I moved 5 times in 5 years, and each time we very much leveled up, not just like the shark in the pond mentality that we felt like we felt in a lot of the cities that we moved into, but also we were able to give ourselves a regional geographic location advantage by each city that we moved to. So when we first left college in Philadelphia, we moved to New York, but then we moved to Boulder, Colorado. And we moved to Boulder, Colorado, and we lived there for a year and a half, and we actually don't know anyone now who lives in Boulder, Colorado, because we just worked 7 days a week for a year and a half, and we needed to get away from the influences in our hometown. Then we moved back to Brooklyn, scaled in Brooklyn for a bit, had some initial success, but then once COVID hit, as I mentioned, we moved to Los Angeles to go after the influencer nucleus of America, which at the time was Los Angeles, Hollywood, whatever you want to call it. So, and now we're in Austin, Texas. Our headquarters is right next door, and I truly feel like this is the CPG entrepreneurship hub of America in 2026. And so packing your bags, getting the plane ticket, whatever it may be, I feel like can be one of the largest advantages that you can have over your competition when they are probably afraid to move because of the obvious reasons that is hard to do. What got you here is not going to be what gets you there, but you can connect the dots. So although it may feel like, again, going back to starting over and starting from zero may be very daunting and intimidating, I feel as you look back at your journey, you will learn lessons and data points that you can connect the dots to from your journey. So maybe I'm just like a huge Slumdog Millionaire fan, but I feel like we have those moments in our entrepreneurship career on a regular basis. So if you look at the pre-workout that Bloom launched, as we probably expanded to call it 10 flavors within the first 18 months, our top selling flavors were actually Crisp Apple and Glacier Crush. And then 6 years went by. And today, as we've expanded our beverage portfolio, our energy drink portfolio to 10 flavors, our number 1 and number 2 flavor is Glacier Crush and Crisp Apple. And those are learnings that we were able to keep a journey memory point that we can connect the dots to 7 years later in our career. And so it may feel like, oh, why do we even do that pre-workout company? We should have just skipped right to energy drinks, but we wouldn't have had the ability to have the Slumdog Millionaire moment and reminisce on our journey and take the crucial learnings to apply to the energy drink today. So what seems like this 2-year overnight success energy drink company is actually a full connecting the dots moment of a 10-year community building career. 10-year overnight success. Cool. Can I go back on this? All right, well, if I went back, you would have seen that Bloom has had over 100 SKUs. Cool. Be fully committed from start to finish. What I have found is that, and this is really also another way of saying to win the game, you just need to stay in the game. And I have found so much of our competition along the way that I felt like was truly going to potentially take us out. All we needed to do was outlast them. And it is just a matter of time until they have the very enticing opportunity to pull the profitability card, or to go get comfortable with the silk sheets that they can now afford, or they can go take the acquisition that they've been dreaming to take, and then that is your time to just maintain market share or potentially go take the market share that they are going to lose. So just standing the test of time seems to be our largest weapon that we have been able to use to keep the brand alive for 10 years, but also to watch our competition just fall without us needing to do anything. The most perfect person fully devotes themselves to their favorite task. Hire accordingly. So I get a lot of questions about talent acquisition, and this really stemmed from the idea of, when I think of talent acquisition, I think of hiring for your problems, not just copying the org chart from your favorite corporation that you're trying to become. But if you're hiring for your problems, to me, my problems are just really the things that I don't enjoy doing. And if we're trying to think of a sustainable career, you probably should make sure your day is mostly things that you enjoy doing. And I like to think that when I go after talent acquisition, or I go after credible talent, in the interview process, you need to make sure that the person is truly passionate about the department that they will be joining. And the person who is passionate about that topic will always be the best person for that role, especially for the long term. You do not need to recreate the wheel. I get asked every day, oh my God, how could you create an energy drink? It is such a saturated space. Or I would never create a better for you soda. It is such a saturated space. Bloom was not the first greens powder. Bloom was not the first soda. Bloom was not the first energy drink by any means. And I have two ways of thinking about this. Number one, I'm more than happy to let Poppy buy a Super Bowl ad and go tell everyone about Better For You soda, and then we are also available in Walmart and Target. I am happy to let Athletic Greens go tell everyone they should, let Joe go pay the Joe Rogan invoice and tell everyone to take a greens powder, and then ours is half the price and available in all of your favorite retailers and tastes better and is probably better formulated. Or I am happy to let Red Bull go send a homie to the moon and do whatever the hell they do. They are just creating the market share for our energy drinks, for our greens powder, for our sodas, and I love saturation because I hate spending money on educating people. Educating people is very expensive. If you look at, one of my favorite things is the Ring doorbell. That founder was like, why would I recreate the wheel? I just need to take the wheel and make it 10 times better, or make it even twice as good, and explain that is the money that you are going to use to educate. You need to say, you already drink a Red Bull, well, mine is better, and this is why you should buy it. So education is very expensive. Do not recreate the wheel. You do not need to be some grand innovator to build something special. Focus kills. I am very against having a diversified portfolio. I think that if you want to get successful in a short period of time, more times than not when I have met someone who has done that, I am 30 years old, more times than not when I have met somebody who has done that, they do only one thing, and they go all in on that one thing. And I do not care about a real estate portfolio, my stocks. I definitely don't really invest in other brands, and I don't really run other brands. I am 100% in Bloom for 10 years straight, and generally within Bloom, I have only 2 goals that I am working on at a time, and that has been a massive reason for why Bloom has been able to win. It is easy to get distracted, especially as your resources grow or your status grows. Opportunities and things will shimmer around you that seem like very compelling things that you should hop on because they're just low-hanging fruit. Avoid them at all costs and continue to focus on what you can control, which is your brand, and that is what can become your magnum opus. The power of partners. My wife is here. She's a co-founder of Bloom. My mom was the head of finance until 100 million at Bloom. My best friend from high school, my neighbor in high school, my neighbor now, and ordained our wedding. My son's middle name is his name, Leo. He is the president of Bloom. I'm fortunate enough to have been able to complete a partnership with Nutrabolt here in Austin, Texas as well, which is really the reason that we moved to Austin, Texas. That closed in, first quarter of 2024. And with that, we were able to expedite our path to a partnership with Keurig Dr. Pepper. I am a huge fan of 2 or 3 very closely bonded people who have the same goal in mind is far more than just 3 times as productive as 3 separate people productivity-wise, right? So I truly believe that 2 very strong people can be 10 times as more productive as just one person working by themselves. Through partnership, we have been able to have a very large slice of a far larger pie than Bloom could have ever been if it was just we owned the entire pie. And it has truly been a 1 + 1 = 3 scenario, and I couldn't be more happy with this partnership. The energy drinks that you see in front of you are all on Dr. Pepper trucks now. Our soda are on Dr. Pepper trucks, and everything that, going back to not doing the things that I don't enjoy, all of the annoying commercialization and whatever stuff, Nutrabolt handles that. So I just do what I enjoy all day, and that is why we are able to compete at just a ruthless level. Oh, that was 10 lessons. Yeah, that was what I got. Yeah. I would love to. I can do a question or something. Yeah, do some questions. All right, what do you got?
So, on one hand, you say ruthless focus kills.
Yeah.
On the other hand, you have over 100 SKUs.
Yeah.
How do you reconcile those 2 things? I'm loud. You can hear me.
No, I got you.
Okay.
So I have 100 SKUs, but how do I justify focus? A lot of those SKUs are variants of so flavors of the other products. But I would say, going back to what I am focusing on, as majority of our team and the founder is truly. Right now I'll just be transparent. It's just energy and soda. That is the only thing that I spend 90% of my time thinking about. Yeah.
What else we got? Hey, let's get real here. We got a bunch of founders in here. We got some brand leaders. Let's open up the kimono.
What do you
Greg
got?
is going to lay it all out. That's what he told me before. He did. He said that. Any other cues?
You mentioned thanks, Bill. Man, you mentioned that there was, COVID. There's TikTok Shop, like all these big disruptors over the last few years, and you said there's going to be something this year. I know you said TikTok Shop is still on and popping, but like, what do you think might be the next thing this year?
Yeah, I think it's
2027?
going to be. You're going to see more of these up and coming D2C brands entering retailers far earlier and far faster. So what used to be like a Target wouldn't take a call with you until you were doing over 30 million. I think that number's probably closer to 10 now, if not below it. Target, Walmart, all of some of the largest retailers in America were going crazy at Natural Foods Expo West this year. They need us more than we need them at this point. They need to have that innovation faster than all of their competitors. So I think that will be a far disruption. But also GLP-1's really picking up as well, and we're seeing those trends take place. So I would say, changing in the brick and mortar landscape, TikTok Shop, and the pharmaceutical intervention that is GLP-1s.
Love that. Thanks.
Hi there. Question on if you are a brand who's trying to get the attention of a retailer doing something and you only have so much budget, where would you invest first if it was today?
So I learned a funny story that when you call it in the earlier 2000s, if you wanted to pitch Target, you would buy billboards in Minneapolis and make it, so the buyers would be like, I've been seeing you everywhere. So what we did back in the day is we just found who they followed, and we would hire all of their influencers that they followed. And so then when we did email them, they'd be like, shit, I've been seeing Bloom everywhere. And so I think people forget that there are humans that work at Target, and they will make emotional decisions, and they want to take a risk on your brand, which will probably be based off of emotion and not as much logic as they like to make it seem. So as much emotion as you can bring into your relationship will generally benefit you as a not corporation partner.
Love it. Love it.
Fuck yeah. Who else?
What's like a secret growth hack tip that you've never told anyone that you want to tell this group right here?
I think it would be surrounding yourself with as young of people as possible on a regular basis. They know more that I'm Unc now, right? I'm 30. So they make fun of me. Like, I can't believe what these kids are doing, and I've realized really in the last 12 months how much I need to make sure I continue to network with the 20-year-olds of today, who, by the way, are like millionaires already. It's crazy what they're all up to. So that would be my growth hack. Yeah, hang out with young people. That's for sure.
Did you start with smaller partners? And if so, how did you start that? How did you choose them? How did you get them?
No, we were bootstrapped to 180 million, and then our first retailer was a nationwide launch at Target. So it's pretty much been moonshots only is basically tattooed on my back, and we've really only tried to take large swings.
So what was the biggest thing that you think influenced your rapid growth?
Our arbitrage of influencer marketing. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just gonna over here now. What would you say is the biggest focus area that unlocks your growth in those early years? Like, was there like a single area that you've overinvested in that you saw like kind of big ROI?
Yeah, going back to not having a yeah, so growth hack that we really overly invested in to get to this point so fast, I would say going back to not having a diversified portfolio. I also hate having a diversified marketing budget. I do not think I don't believe that it should be the same every day, and I don't believe that it should be diverse across channels. I'm a huge fan at putting as much as possible in a short amount of time on one channel and taking that channel over. So, I mean, even when we first partnered with Target, all I wanted to do was turn their website green. Like, I just wanted to own everything that was going on at Target. When we launched on Amazon, we were one of the first companies to buy the whole front page for 24 hours. And then every influencer was saying, oh my God, Bloom just took over Amazon. So I'm a huge fan of, I call them tsunamis, but just having like very loud moments instead of, my marketing team would call it, instead of having peanut butter spread. Yeah.
Hey, Greg. My question's about how you think about umbrella brands like Bloom. Like, the power of the Bloom name is so strong. You guys can launch pretty much anything, and there's instant validation. And then I see, as a counterpoint, a brand like Grüns, which has done very well, but seems to be launching these very separate brands for their new product lines. And yeah, is that a good strategy for them? Is it just different from how Bloom did it? And how do you think about it?
I don't know. You know, I'm a huge fan of the concept of a shared service business model where, you know, you have a family office and you launch brands where like teams can work on more than one company at once, although that kind of goes against like my ethos of focusing on one. I would rather launch a platform brand, is what we would call it, which is a, you know, Bloom can be put on many different products. I mean, Bloom Baby could launch tomorrow comfortably. But we also very intentionally did not call the company Mari Supplements, right? It was called Bloom for a reason, which is something that, you know, remove all key man risk and kind of keep it ambiguous. So just like how, you know, a Nike could be put on almost any product at this point, I don't know if I could imagine the Grunes logo on a beverage. So it starts at incubation stage, you know, making the decision that you're going to be a platform brand. Yeah.
All right, I'm just gonna let him rip. Anyone else? Can you keep hammering?
Yeah, no, I'm very.
Who else has got something? Come on. Ingrid, we're ripping back over to you. Got the Vivo Barefoots that I'm running over with.
Okay, one more for you. So, being a CPG in a beverage company and having such wide distribution in wholesale, how do you approach direct-to-consumer Bloom.com?
Yeah, so we scaled our Shopify to probably a quarter, so 25 million before we launched on Amazon or went into retail. At that point, we virtually sacrificed our entire D2C community to go arbitrage Amazon. So I'm a huge fan of dominating one goal and then trying to leverage that community to move on to the next goal. So what we did with our entire email list, IG following, or SMS list was we said, go buy on Amazon now. As a result, we are 5% Shopify at this point, if not lower. But that doesn't matter because we went into a category that doesn't even use D2C because you're not buying beverages on D2C. So what looked crazy to private equity type investors before we had a beverage ended up working out perfectly, which goes back to the Slumdog Millionaire. Yeah.
All right, we got one final layout. Who's got it? Who's ready? Let's do it. What's your name? Alyssa. Last one of the day. Make it count.
As a husband-wife team,
Yeah.
what advice would you give to other husband-wife teams?
I don't know anything else. Mari and I started working together pretty, early on in dating. So I don't know anything else, but I now know what it is like as Mari has stepped more into a maternity chapter of her life, and that's also awesome. So maybe it's I have a jaded experience of both. But sorry, I meant gold experience of both. Sorry. Yeah. Also, we have very different skills. Mine is not vocabulary, and Mari's is vocabulary. So, if there's a yin-yang scenario of any partnership, which is similar to the partnerships that I mentioned, like that's always a 1 + 1 = 3. But yeah, making time for real life as well is obviously crucial.
Guys, it's time. Let's give the man a round of applause. Come on.